guys, welcome back to the channel. Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market. Guys, stay tuned because it's going to be a crazy week. We are entering into the final week of the summer transfer window. On Balde, I didn't tell Balde you have to leave the club. Flick said, I had a conversation with Balde and I told him, think about your situation, clarify your situation and we'll speak tomorrow. So what's the reality, guys? At the moment, Barcelona are open to selling Balde in case of good proposal. But Balde, I can tell you once again, is not pushing to leave Barcelona. So or it's a top proposal for the club and a good proposal for the player because Balde is not accepting anything. To be honest, I saw some clubs linked with Balde that Balde would never take into consideration. I'm not going to mention them out of respect, but Balde is never going to mid-table clubs. Has to be top clubs. So, for example, Manchester United is a club that called Jorge Mendes, and Manchester United are in the conversation and are a possibility, but it depends on the conditions. Not only on transfer fee, also on the salary, because Balde is on a big salary at Barcelona, and that's going to be a point. So let's follow the Balde situation, but for sure, Man United are still looking for a left back. On Man United, Lewis Hall today, Matthias Gisle definitely closed the deal. Definitely closed the door to any option for this deal because he said no chance when he was asked about Manchester United trying to sign Lewis Hall. So forget about Lewis Hall for Manchester United, said by Newcastle new boss Matthias Gisle.
What's going on, Reds? Welcome back to United Focus. There's a genuine mountain of news to get through today. United suffered a difficult away defeat to Hull City, but off the pitch it's a completely different story. The Carlos Baleba deal has been agreed. Alejandro Balde has reportedly told his agent to find him an exit from Barcelona with United in mind. The door has been firmly slammed shut on Lewis Hall, and there's fresh interest in Joshua Zirkzee from a Premier League rival. Let's break it all down. Before we get into the transfer business, let's quickly touch on what happened on the pitch, because it's shaping the context for everything else. United were beaten 2-0 away at newly promoted Hull City, with goals from Nobel Mendy and Semi Ajayi securing a surprise result for the home side. Speaking after the match, Michael Carrick admitted his disappointment with the result but was careful not to overreact, saying it was just one game, no more, no less significant than that, and that the squad needed to absorb the setback and come back stronger. That disappointing result makes the transfer business happening behind the scenes feel even more important heading into the rest of the window. Now here's where things get really interesting. According to Spanish outlet Sport, Barcelona left-back Alejandro Balde has given the green light to his agent, Jorge Mendes, to find him a new club, with United reportedly the destination that excites him most. This comes after Balde was left out of Barcelona's squad entirely for their opening La Liga fixture against Elche, a match Barcelona won comfortably 5-0. Barcelona boss Hansi Flick addressed the decision directly after the game, explaining that he'd spoken with Balde and suggested the player wasn't fully present mentally, given the ongoing transfer speculation, so it was best for him to stay home and clear his head, with further conversations planned for the following day. Flick was careful to clarify he hadn't told Balde he needed to leave, simply that he'd encouraged the player to think through his situation. Fabrizio Romano provided further clarity on the situation on his YouTube channel, confirming that Barcelona are currently open to selling Balde if a good proposal comes in, though he was clear that Balde himself isn't actively pushing for an exit in the way some reports had suggested. Romano also noted that Barcelona's day otherwise went well on the pitch, with new signings Adeyemi and Anthony Gordon making strong debut impacts, Adeyemi scoring on his first appearance and Gordon delivering 2 assists. Though there was a note of concern with Pablo Gavi picking up an injury during the game. There's also mention of Benfica showing interest in Balde as an additional suitor, but with United actively in the mix and Balde reportedly excited by the idea of a move to Old Trafford, this one looks like a genuine 2-horse race at most. Transfermarkt currently values Balde at around £43 million, and he could realistically become the next signing through the door at Old Trafford. Manchester United have agreed a fee of £70 million to sign Brighton midfielder Carlos Baleba. According to reports, a breakthrough in talks happened last Friday, with the 22-year-old undergoing his medical over the weekend. The structure of the deal sees United pay an initial £65 million, with a potential further £5 million in add-ons on top. Brighton have also reportedly negotiated a sell-on clause as part of the agreement, meaning they'll benefit if United later sell Baleba on for a profit. There's a genuinely interesting detail here worth flagging. United actually registered interest in Baleba last summer too, but at that point Brighton were demanding well over £100 million for his signature. Fast forward 12 months and United have now secured him for £35 million, less than that original asking price. A significant saving, even with the fee still representing serious business. Reports also indicate Baleba has signed a 5-year contract with an official club announcement expected imminently. One note of caution for fans hoping to see him straight away: he may not actually be available to make his United debut until mid-September due to the ankle ligament injury he picked up during pre-season. The club could even be cautious enough to hold him back until after the 3-week international break concludes in October. This becomes Carrick's 4th senior signing of the summer, following fellow midfielders Andre Santos and Yuri Tielemans, plus backup goalkeeper Carl Darlow. While Balde's situation is developing in United's favour, the same can't be said for their other long-standing left-back target, Newcastle's Lewis Hall. Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Newcastle boss Matthias Geisler has definitively closed the door on any move for Hall, stating flatly there was no chance when directly asked about United's interest. That comment came during a Viaplay interview after Newcastle's dramatic 2-2 draw with Liverpool in their Premier League opener at St James's Park. A game in which Hall was actually excellent, despite conceding a last-gasp penalty for a foul on Victor Munoz that allowed Dominik Szoboszlai to level the score from the spot. Manchester United legend and current pundit Peter Schmeichel put the question to Geisel directly during that post-match interview, referencing his former club's interest, and Geisel simply chuckled and repeated "no chance" twice. It's easy to understand Newcastle's stance here. The club has already seen key players depart in recent windows, including Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali and Anthony Gordon, and there's clearly no appetite to lose yet another important piece of their squad, especially not to a direct Premier League rival. With Hall now firmly off the table, it makes total sense why United's focus has shifted decisively toward alternatives like Balde. Zooming out, it's worth explaining why this position has become such a priority. Current incumbent Luke Shaw turned 31 in July and is now into the final 12 months of his contract, though United do retain the option to trigger an automatic 1-year extension if they choose to. Carrick appears to be actively looking for a long-term successor, rather than simply relying on that extension option, which is exactly why the search for a new left-back has intensified so much heading into the final days of the window. Finally, let's talk about a potential departure. Joshua Zirkzee could be on his way out of Old Trafford, with Aston Villa reportedly showing genuine interest in the Dutch striker. According to Fabrizio Romano, the two clubs have already held talks over a potential move, though United haven't yet given the deal their full green light. The context here is fairly straightforward. With Ollie Watkins' move to Al Hilal looking increasingly likely, Villa are actively in the market for a new forward to replace him. Zirkzee is reportedly high on Villa's list of options, though it's worth noting he isn't necessarily their first choice. That distinction belongs to Chelsea's Nicholas Jackson, who remains Villa's preferred target if Chelsea make him available for a move. A couple of smaller squad notes worth mentioning. United confirmed that 19-year-old midfielder Jacob Devaney has joined Hibernian on an initial season-long loan, which Hibs have confirmed includes an option for a permanent transfer next summer. The Republic of Ireland under-21 international spent the second half of last season on loan in Scotland with St Mirren, so this represents a continuation of his development pathway away from Old Trafford. Baleba's move is agreed and should be officially confirmed very soon. Balde's situation at Barcelona is developing quickly in United's favour, even if he isn't actively forcing the issue. Lewis Hall is now completely off the table after Newcastle's blunt public rejection, and Zirkzee's Old Trafford future looks increasingly uncertain with Aston Villa circling. Let me know in the comments. Are you excited about the prospect of Balde arriving at left back, and would you be sad to see Zirkzee go if Villa come calling? Drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next video. Come on, United!